Frisbee as a college, I threw every single day.
Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
Happy Saturday, Ultimate fans. Thank you for joining us at the conclusion here of the 2023 Canadian Ultimate Championships. We are here in Surrey, British Columbia at the Newton Athletic Park Sports Complex. It's a beautiful place, beautiful land where we get to play the game we love. And it is on the traditional territories of the Semiahmoo, Katsi, Kwantlen, Coquitlam, Kaikite, and Tsawwassen First Nations. And so thankful to be here watching, playing the sport we love. The weather has been wonderful this week to do it. My name is Clayton Howlett. I'm joined here with Sahab Ansari, and we're going to be calling this mixed semifinal for you this morning between Manitoba, Winnipeg's PBHG, and Ontario, Toronto's Union. Few things. First of all, if you're thinking this is not the game that was on the schedule in the bracket originally, you're right. We switched some things around so we could get more teams on the stream. Red Flag and Spawn are playing in the other semifinal for mixed, but they will not be featured on the stream. Instead, we're going to go with PBHG and Union. And there have been some other changes. So, Sahab, we're in for it today because fans, you should know this is stream 1 of 5 today straight. So we're going to do 5 games in a row. Games tomorrow, our 2 finals tomorrow, have been rescheduled thanks to some environmental events around the province and the weather and the winds. The air quality is not going to be good enough tomorrow to actually do any strenuous activity. So games tomorrow have to either be canceled or rescheduled. So all 3 divisional finals, the mixed, the open, and the women's, will happen this afternoon and tonight at 2:30, 4:15, and 6 o'clock. It'll go mixed, open, women's first. We're going to feature a mixed semifinal, and then following this game, it will be an open semifinal. So if you've got nothing to do on your Saturday and want to kick back and watch 8 hours of Ultimate, you're in luck.
Definitely, yeah. Bear with us here as we are going to bring you as much Ultimate as we possibly can. Looking forward to this one. This is actually a rematch of our last year's CUCs between Toronto Union and PBHG, which Toronto Union did end up taking home. We did have a little bit of delays there last year too, Clayton. For those of you that weren't there or weren't able to watch, there was actually thunderstorms last year. So in Brampton, we got a whole different experience between what we're getting here in Vancouver, British Columbia today. Right? We're experiencing terrible air quality here as we carry on. So we're going to have to reschedule those games. Whereas in Brampton, we had those thunderstorms, those rainstorms, and the mixed finals actually ended up happening late at night. A lot of people had already left the field at the time.
Yeah, and actually it was interesting because we had 2 finals happen at the same time last year. The open final and the mixed final were occurring at the same time. So mixed final wasn't actually featured on the stream last year. So we're going to make up for that. And bring you the rematch of that final right now. You've got PBHG in the navy blue today on the right of your screen. Union is in white on the left. I had a chance to watch Union play this morning. They were looking pretty confident and strong against Vancouver's TT. And we'll see more of that offense on this point. Union starts with a huck right away, and it bounces out of the hands of number 24, Jamie Nepom. It looked like there was some pressure there from PBHG. She called a foul. perhaps some contact on her arm when she reached for it. Sahab, I actually didn't see very much contact there from Heather Herms. So Herms looks like she's trying to do the math right now and figure this one out. Observer Sandra Hansen there, just asking the players, well, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to come to me? Are you going to foul contest? The observers have been trying to keep the games moving. Usually after about 45 seconds of discussion, they say, all right, what are we doing here? Let's play. They also like to stand next to the players right away so that they can get any context of what's going on if they're asked. So it's a foul contest. Both players elect not to go to the observer. So that throw is going to go back, and everyone else is going to have to go back to where they were.
Yeah, those are kind of surprising to see, right? You kind of expect to have players utilize the observers there, right? Observers sometimes, in this case, would have a little bit of a better perspective. But I think the foul contest is a total valid argument, right? We see this happen a lot, and these players are used to it, right? And not every single game is going to be observed. And yeah, a lot of the times they're going to go back.
Atchison had that huck. Instead, this time he elects to look for a dump. Finds Musalam. She'll air that out, but it is too far for Brianna Prentice. That edge biting into the wind and having no float on it. So now PBHG does get possession, and they will have a chance to break to start this game. PBHG setting up in a horizontal offense, somewhat deep. Medwick, he'll air that out, and that in turn has a rough edge on it. The wind gets underneath it, pushes it down into the ground. So 2 errant hucks from each team. Campbell will pick up. Centers to the middle right away. PBHG electing to slough off of the handlers a little bit. Union running a vertical offense. That huck skies up high. Lots of pushing,
there.
but it doesn't really matter because Musalam is there to bring it in. And number 28 on PBHG, Sam Beardsell, is going to call a foul. It felt to me that Beardsell was actually initiating most of that contact. It looks like both of those players went real hard on the I'm going to body you out train. So I'm not sure if I agree with this foul call, but I actually didn't see if Campbell in turn was pushing back. So we'll see how this is resolved. Once again, observer Hansen there immediately to work this out.
Yeah, it's hard. Definitely a lot of contact there between both players, right? And when you're pushing, you're going to feel that pushback. And as we see this play carry on, I want to see Union get into a nice stack here.
So ends up with Musalam anyway. She's able to find an IO flick. So Union's going to get the hold. That is James Carprise with the hold, or with the goal for the hold, excuse me.
Yeah, Musalam opting to hit that inside shot right away, right? It's a great option. Definitely quick, easy score. And yeah, there's been some good movement here. I think most of these players are excited. There's not as much wind here today compared to as much as there was yesterday. So these players are going to get a little bit more excited, a little bit more huck happy. They definitely experienced that during their quarters game, that this wind is not affecting as much as it was yesterday. So we're definitely going to see a lot more hucks. We're definitely going to see a lot more rundowns here. And let's just see which one of these teams still has the wheels to reel those discs in.
And speaking of wheels, there's just one more thing I want to say about the conditions, which I talk about way too much. It's quite hazy here. We do know from forest fires in the province right now that, the smoke is going to work its way over to where we are right now, thanks to the prevailing winds. And as it is getting hazy, we've had blue skies actually all week, but today, not a cloud in the sky, but it's just sky's kind of graying up and filling with the haze. So we might see some players start to run out of stamina today if that air quality does get a little bit more rough. I expect that teams are going to have to really exercise the depth of their rosters in order for players to recover properly after playing a point.
Definitely a lot more musty than usual here as we carry on with this point. Nice big pull from the Union side.
PBHG setting up in a horizontal. They're pretty deep. Union taking away the last back. They seem to be really trying to stop number 2, Matthew Paget, from going deep. Instead, they'll just work it around in their handler core, Josh Kerr. He'll go around to Paget. Paget doesn't like those options. He'll go back to Kerr. Paget, Kerr, give go action. Kerr's going to put that out for Paget, but I don't think Paget was expecting that short IO backhand. And number 1 from Union, Jordan Ing Chen making a play. Hansen finds Gao. Gao travels, self-check, goes back to where she is. Gao will go back to Hansen. Hansen back to Gao. PBHG doing a good job downfield here, stopping those cuts as the handlers just play with each other. Ing Chen comes under, and there's a pick call. Pretty expected call in a vertical offense. Those players are lining up single file in the middle, but if they don't know where each other are, they get too close to each other and end up creating picks. Too much traffic, and picks are illegal in Ultimate, if you don't know. Ing Chen. Looking for options. Doesn't like that look up the middle. Instead, he'll try and punch it up the line on the jam side to Ian Hansen Sahab. We know that is a very difficult tactic to use.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we see often, a lot more often in juniors than we do see in adults, but it is a tactic, right? You try to boost it downfield to force it turnover here as PBHG elects to shoot deep here.
Ing Chen once again shutting down Paget deep. Doesn't look like a call. They check in with each other. Great tee by Jordan Ing Chen, shutting down who I would think would be the highlight receiver for PBHG right now. Marcelino gets it around to Gao. Marcelino. She'll get it back to Gao. PBHG once again doing a great job on that under defense, but Catherine Marcelino screams up the line and lands out of bounds. I've said it every stream. That blue line on that sideline is getting everybody. Lots of players not realizing where the line is.
Terribly difficult to see where that line is. Oh.
Paget off his hands. He's unable to grab it on the second effort.
As you hear the put it up calls on the sideline.
Ing Chen running that down, but he is out of bounds. That huck from G. Virage. Excuse me, G. Virage. I'm going to get it right. PBHG picks up. Handler core for PBHG, working it around. Rempel goes to Kerr. Kerr moves it to Boyle. Galvez is looking, or was looking for Neeson, but that throw just on the wrong side of her, moving backwards. Union elects to call a timeout and try and get organized.
And
Ian Hansen there. Yeah, that's a good one. I think Union was feeling fairly disorganized. It's been a long point. You know, Ing Chen made some great Ds. Then he had that huck from Jivaraja, and you know, he went end to end there, and that was just out of bounds, even though he got it. So you know, you see these Union players getting hands on their knees, trying to take a break here. So smart.
Yeah, definitely a good choice for sure. And like you said, it's not easy to be in this position where PBHG trying to make sure that they're staying strong on O, right? Forcing things downfield. I like the look at the beginning of the point for PBHG, right? They were really moving the disc around with their handlers, but it seemed like after they got the disc back off the D on the turn there, they just got a little bit too antsy, Clay, right? They're shooting it downfield immediately off the pickup, right? I want to see PBHG get back into their set play, right? Get back into their handler movement. As we see Union here setting up something a little bit different.
No? Well, we thought about it, but I think...
Thought there was going to be a side stack there, but it seems like that player was not on the field.
Yeah, no, they do go into a vertical, but they do have a really specific lineup. You see the back of the stack really backing up. They're at a slight diagonal angle here. So when teams do this, when they form that diagonal, usually what this means is there is a chosen cutter out of that stack that is going to do the work, and there might be a secondary look from kind of the opposite side of the stack. So I expect the front and the back to move here, or the front and the handler. Let's see. Jivaraja makes a move. There's that front of the stack move. We did have a cut come from the back. Both were taken away, though, so the dump goes to Gao. Gao finds Marcelino. Marcelino punches that up the line to Hansen. He's able to reel it in past a bidding Kerr. And Hansen airs that out for Jivaraja. And Union with the first break of the game. The score now 2-0 for Union.
Yeah, that's a big break for Union, right? Those are the breaks that you need to kind of bring that momentum into your team. But as we've seen yesterday and days prior, right, these little leads here aren't going to be the deciders of the game, right? These leads come back really quickly.
Yeah, these games at this level now, these teams are going to, unless anyone really crumbles, right? They're going to start figuring each other out. We're going to see some runs, some breaks here and there. But so often, how many games have you played where you said, we would have won if we didn't get broken twice at the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah.
We lost the game by 1, and we really didn't show up in those first 2 points. We gave the other team momentum, and we could just never get that single or 2 points back. If I had a nickel, I'd have a lot of nickels. Lost a lot of games that way.
Yeah, definitely. That is definitely the case. Every once in a while, we are going to see that happen. But I like to be hopeful and faithful in PBHG's abilities to bring this game back. As we see Union getting ready to put the pull up. That was Union's number 18, Bianca Presence.
Kimura fields that, centering it to the Thomas Boyle. Callum. PBHG just moving it around their handler core here. Kimura. There's a pick called. If you see those muscly bicep flexes, that is the signal for pick. So players have to go back to where they were when the infraction occurred, and if the player was picked, they do get to catch up to their check afterwards. Rempel flips that to Boyle. Boyle finds a bigger round to Paget. Paget available under a lot as the other team is backing him. Oh, and a bidding Catherine Herms just a disc length away from her hand there. We've seen those OI flicks just bite in these conditions and just sail away.
Yeah.
So
I like this Union horizontal setup here, seeing what they can do with it.
Sometimes easier to float into a horizontal when you're on D-line. Vertical has to be very organized. Horizontal is a little bit more flowy. So not surprised to see this D-line choose to do that.
Yeah.
Napalm punches it up the line. Has Prentice. Prentice finds an open Musalam. Musalam dumps to Lay. Napalm. And kept alive by Lee. He'll air that out for Napalm, but PBHG saw it coming.
Yeah, Napalm really trying to run through on every single one of those. She made some great, huge unders on that little possession there. Not able to punch it in. Throw got a little bit away from her, but great movement there from Napalm.
Fauché read that play. Boyle will bring it up to the line. Boyle looks to his dump. Goes over to Herms. Herms will give it back to Boyle. Boyle, little give-go action. He's liking Paget deep, but Paget was kind of far. So instead, it moves it back around to Herms. Herms finding Paget on the side again. They're really backing him. That isn't free under every time right now. Herms puts that out in front of her sister, and this time Catherine able to really use her wheels to bring that one in. Kimura goes up a little bit early for that one, thought he was under more pressure, probably could have reeled it in, but it was too high when he went for it.
Yeah, definitely a good effort from our Kimura. As
an injury taken by Catherine Herms.
That layout grab was definitely tough, right? And we've said it before. During this stage of the tournament, your body is aching already, and taking a nice hard fall to the ground is not going to be helpful. So electing to step off the field there.
Carprize comes in and gets it to gets it to Prentice in the middle. She'll dump it. The handlers start working together. Atchison. Hadley, but that was thrown on the wrong side of his momentum. Lee cannot stretch out and change direction fast enough. Very hard thing for him to do in that situation.
Yeah. And that throw just didn't come out of Atchison's hand as he intended, right?
D. Thomas Boyle picks up. Kimura finds Boyle. Boyle holds that disc over his head, says, I'm going to hammer it. Somebody, anybody. Paget. Oof. Interesting. Landed in, caught it on his slide, lost his balance, and that tiny bit of ground contact knocked it out of his hands. We all thought it was a goal. The observer thought it was a goal. And at the last second, when Paget just lost his momentum, it fell out of his hands. You have to keep control throughout the entire process of the catch. Carprize fights through that contact to reel that in. Contact called. That stall count will reset to 0. Carprize gets it around to Prentice. Carprize gets that up to Prentice. Prentice is going to air that out. McFarland finds the effort and the energy to get there, and she'll flick that up to Carprize. Union with another hold. Kind of a heartbreaker there.
Sorry, that's a Union break there.
Kind of a heartbreaker there for PBHG. So that's 3-0 now. PBHG yet to get on the board.
Yeah, and that was just such a great huck by Prentice. Really, really, really airing that one out all the way downfield, and a timeout called. This is definitely expected, right? You get broken 3 times, and you're going to expect that timeout call from the opposing team. And this is a smart timeout, right? This is a young PBHG team. I spoke to their coach, and he mentioned that most of this team is rookies, right? There's a few players that have been around for a few years now, but a vast majority of them are new to this team. This team has been around for quite some time, right? 13 years now, but after their WUC year, they decided to have a little bit of a rebuild. So really looking forward to seeing how things come around.
Yeah, this is a really common timeout. 3-0. Honestly, I'm kind of seeing these days is sort of the standard, if you will. When you get that lead against you, it's timeout time. You know, it's time to regroup, time to figure out, okay, what's going wrong for us. I mean, Union did shut down the big receiver for PBHG initially in how they just it was Jordan Chen that defended Paget a few times, and Paget is definitely the receiver for PBHG right now. And they seem to have at that time. Boyle's hammer was great. It was just such bad luck for Paget there, but there have also been others that have just been bouncing out of the hands of PBHG right now. I wonder if this is just maybe in the timeout, we're feeling the pressure. We all feel the pressure right now, and look what is happening. This pressure is causing us to have it bounce out of our hands, to do little drops, stuff we're not usually going to do. I think General Strike has arrived.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That is a loud sideline. And if you know Manitoba Ultimate, you know that they are anything but quiet, right? They are loud on the sideline. They're cheering, and they're always active. You got parents, you got family, you got friends. They're traveling everywhere across this country to make sure that they're cheering on their families. Yeah, and that is indeed General Strike across the field, really loud as we see this pull come in from Union and is going to sail out.
Looks like number 18, William Medwick, will center that, bring it to the brick. Not seeing Paget on this O-line, so a little bit of a personnel change. I think this might be
a brand new line here.
Yeah, maybe their D-line perhaps, but a smart thing to do. Give other chance. Let your depth get some of the work done. Chachanov Sneaks that up the line, calls for it back. There is some traffic, but it's okay. Chachanov comes up with it. It's a little bit cloggy in the handler core now, though. Chachanov looking for options. Able to find Turner. Chachanov getting it back. He just reset that count with a cheeky little flip up the line. And Medwick able to get that nice floaty OI from William McLeod. Now we're seeing a flick huck that does not bite too hard. Lands in the hands of PBHG, and out of that timeout, they finally get on the board. The score, Union 3, PBHG 1.
Yeah, McLeod really happy with that one. I saw it in his eyes, right? He was excited to throw that flick. A little bit of high release, nice little edge on that, perfectly thrown to his receiver, right? And this is a great point for PBHG. If that was their D-line, right, we saw some great movement there. And this is going to, or sorry, their O-line, yeah, that would be their D-line coming onto the field as we hopefully see that D-line coming back on here, trying to score a break.
It is their D-line, thanks to our intrepid reporting we did before in the game here. I did see it was Jordan. Well, we'll get that for you, but we did have some players from PBHG that we were told were flourishing on D-line. It was number 9, Jordan Turner. Saw her out there, and I've been told that she was moved to D-line this year, and she's been absolutely flourishing there. She did get involved in the play, a little give-goes with the handlers there. So that was PBHG's defensive line, and looks like we're going to see them out there again. Sometimes D-line needs to get out there on offense and just allow your O-line to regroup. Smart decision by PBHG to shake things up.
Yeah. Really use the depth of your whole team here as we see a big pull from PBHG's Landon fielded.
Lee finds Carprise. Oh, both players trying to extend as far as they could to make that catch. It's too far. So McLeod was a little bit short on the D. It seemed that Jordan Atchison just almost had it, but it was just off his hands.
Yeah, and sometimes it's all you need, right? McLeod knew he couldn't really get there, but he put his body on the line.
The pressure.
And that pressure is all you need sometimes, not making it easy to make that catch. Oh,
and we have a Callahan. It does look like there was some contact, so we're going to wait before we get too excited. It is a goal. McLeod's not too happy about it. Union, Curtis Campbell with our first Callahan appearing on stream at the tournament. There have been others, but that is an exciting play. If you're sitting on your screen and you're newer to Ultimate, you're saying, what just happened? Sahab, can you give us a quick explanation of that rule?
Yeah, so Callahan is when you are on defense and you catch it in your scoring end zone off the throw from the opposing team, right? It is one of the most difficult things to have happen in Ultimate because most players are very, very good in the end zone. But you saw that heads-up look there from Campbell. Really, really excited to get in there and a little bit of a layout grab, just putting his body on the line. Yeah. And that was an insane grab. Very, very quick, very cheeky heads-up play.
Yeah, great athleticism by Campbell. He's probably thinking to himself, you know what the best part of that Callahan was on the stream.
Yeah.
You can go watch it again and again.
Yeah. Make sure everyone and everyone's family has seen that clip, right? Send it.
Bookmark that. Find
the
timestamp in the stream.
Send it on. Post it everywhere. Put it in your holiday card. Right. Really, really exciting to see that. And yeah, first time we've seen a Callahan on stream.
It's cool. Yeah. The score now 4-1. Union pretty psyched on the sideline now. I mean, there's nothing that gets you excited like your team scoring in Callahan.
Yeah.
Union's pull is low, but far. And they get down there quick. So it does get centered to Boyle. Horizontal offense here. See some O-line personnel back out there for PBHG. Page, once again, the Union, that is, elects to always back him because he is a big receiver deep. So anything back to him, anything under is free right now. I want to see PBHG take advantage of that and maybe catch Union sleeping and he can take off deep. But right now, he could be the pivot on the offense here. Chachanov. That one goes up high, a little bit of pushing, but doesn't matter. The Thomas Boyle there to make the save. Boyle's able to find it around to Chachinov. Chachinov flips that up to Paget. Not really challenged under, so an easy pass for him. Moves it around to Boyle. Boyle, no real options. Once again, Paget left alone. Jivaraja just making sure he can't go deep. Good mark by Jivaraja. Paget runs out of time. And Hansen started looking around thinking the stall count must be high. This is going to get thrown to somebody soon. Really good awareness there by Hansen, keeping track of the stall count so he could kind of keep an eye on the thrower for a desperation throw.
Yeah, Hansen knew that one was coming.
Seaborn moves it up to you. Jivaraja to Hansen. Hansen doesn't like the upline look. Looking for a dump. Gao was in the middle there. Gets it up to Thorpe. Thorpe jumping back. Hansen now. Has you up the line. And you flips that to Thorpe. Another break by Union. The score now 5-1.
Yeah, I definitely want to highlight Jessica Gao there, right? Making sure that those unders are coming through, really kind of leading that offensive handler position and finding space for her team to make good cuts, right? Creating space, finding space, and just getting those resets. And that's really a vital part of a team. And like I said yesterday, when we watched Spawn play, Spawn really loved to play through their female matching handlers. And, you know, having a team with stronger female matching handlers does make it easier.
Yeah, I mean, Gao's ability to change direction and kind of get that jab step cut in there. She came down from the front of the stack so quickly as that reset. You saw it coming and actually pointed at her and said, throw to her, ignore me, which is a really great thing to see players aware of their other handlers to make that happen. So, yeah, Union looking very strong right now. They have so much momentum right now. This is not quite the score I expected at this stage in the game. I mean, we did have a Callahan, so that kind of changes the, disparity in the score. But Union just firmly in control, both in energy and play style right now.
Yeah, and without this sort of win, it does become a little bit different, right? It's harder to play through this sort of light weather, as we see a big pull coming in from Union's number 18, Prentice. Pull is fielded.
So that will move around. Union doing some big face guarding on the handlers here, some shut down D. But Carprise is not able to keep the disc from moving to Medwick. Medwick chucks that to the line to Fauché. Fauché will find Diamond Burchick. Medwick calls for it as he's got lots of room. Flips that to Paget. We'll give it right back to Medwick. Medwick to McLeod. And McLeod just makes that sit for Diana Fauché. PBHG responds, keeps their hands up, keeps their energy up. Not out of this game yet. 5-2.
You know what PBHG stands for, Clay?
In my day, pretty boys, handsome girls.
It's still Pretty Boys, Handsome Girls.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually didn't know that for a long time. And more recently, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I learned about that.
Yeah, they've been around a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, did I just make fun of myself on the stream? I mean, I was going to say they've been around a long time and I knew their name. So, yeah, they have been around a long time. They are kind of a household name in mixed ultimate in Canada.
Yep.
I kind of really like that about the mixed division is we're seeing more and more teams that were started 5, 10, sometimes 15 years ago we see a lot of personnel change, but the culture and the name stays the same, the reputation. I mean, PBHG, one of those teams, they have never stopped being strong. If I'm not mistaken, on this very field in 2018, they won.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. PBHG, I spoke to their coach. They are hometown champs. So they're looking to do it again here on this field.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
All right, Beard Cells pull. It's caught in the wind a little bit, but it will land in. So PBHG given a lot of time to get down there. McLeod wants that back. Go for his team, trying to make a turnover happen on the line, but Union able to deal with that bobble. Seaborn flips it up the line to Ing Chen. Ing Chen has you in the middle. You calls foul. Was kind of knocked out of his hands a little bit by accident there by Beardsell. So Beardsell agrees instantly. Coming in on one. Yoop. Looking for options. He'll go to Ing Chen. Ing Chen reaching out with that right hand, makes the grab. Marcelino. Marcelino back to Ing Chen. Over to Hansen. Hansen, the lefty flick. It floats a little too long. Catherine Herms able to make a play. Beardsell unloads to McLeod. It's shallow. McLeod elevating. What a catch. Sawatsky back to McLeod. McLeod gets that over to Kimura. Beardsell, his throw too low for Kimura, but man, oh man, what a catch.
Yeah.
By McLeod.
And PBHG's got to be careful of this because this is the third time now that Union has been poaching this upline lane. And yeah, PBHG just tossing it right into it. And third time that this turnover has happened.
Yeah, it keeps making the same mistake in the red zone. You are correct.
Oh, no,
another Callahan. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my goodness. PBHG responds back immediately with a Callahan of their own.
I need to collect myself over here. I can't even do my job. Heather Herms with the Callahan. That is 2 in that end zone. Viewers, did you think you were going to see a Callahan for each team before we even get through the first half here? The score is now 5-3. Oh man, okay, this is going to be a classic.
Clay, I don't know if you saw that, but Heather Herms saw that throw coming from the brick mark. She busted herself down into that end zone to make that grab. And not only was it a Callahan, it was a very, very athletic grab.
Yeah.
Right? She reached out to get that amazing grab. Great read on the play. Amazing play by Heather Herms.
Well, Union and PBHG electing us to give a show here. We appreciate it. So exciting. The score 5-3. Are you good? I think I'm good. I'm a little jittery now.
I'm definitely shaken up. I'm awake now, Clay. If you are not watching this game, you are definitely missing out. So make sure you tell your family to tune in right now. Get them into the stream. This is going to be a banger of a game.
Yeah. Heather Herms, best Herms. She's here. She gives me the thumbs up. Okay, there you go. Sorry, Catherine. So PBHG, it's going to be Medwick with the pull here. He's had good pulls this game. That one's going to float. Doesn't catch too hard of an edge, so it's going to land inbounds. Fielded by Musalam. And that is just out of the reach of Lee, excuse me. Medwick takes his time. He wants his team to chill out. I mean, we are feeling the energy. They are too.
Yeah.
Good idea to walk up and okay, deep breath. We got to get our job now.
Seeing something really interesting here from PBHG.
Isolation play to Paget, but he's not quite in. But he finds a receiver. It looked like there was some contact there. I think Nelson Lee realized he wasn't going to make it and just tried to bail out of that defensive play as fast as he could. Did end up making contact a little bit, but he did pull the shoot there. Didn't see who made the reception. We'll get that for you in a minute, but PBHG now coming back within 1. I mean, we were saying, 10 minutes ago, that 5-1 lead, not what we expected to see. Now we're at 5-4. Here we go. Here we go.
Definitely an exciting one, as you said, right? And that is a quick break from Union that they needed. And I really love that interesting end zone setup, right? They're kind of set up in like a horizontal there. They had 2 handlers sitting in the reset position, and they had this big split stack with Paget right in the middle of the handler, isolated.
Yeah, and the rest of the handler and the rest of the players that were in that horizontal were quite deep, right? Paget was in front. So I mean, it wasn't hard to see that was going to be an isolation play to Matthew Paget, but at the same time, I mean, you've got Paget's athleticism. his speed, his burst. I mean, why not, right? That could be anybody else, but when you've got Paget in the middle, it seemed that he checked in with Medwick as well and said, "Hey, are we doing this?" And Medwick gave him the nod. So it works out, and PBHG now has a chance to tie it up. I believe that was Hillary Rempel with the goal. I will check in with some PBHG players. We like to give credit where credit is due. If I see her number as she runs by, I'll make sure I get that information to you viewers. And it was actually Diamond Burchuk who got that goal. Thank you. And Gow's going to center this. Union setting up in a horizontal offense. Haven't seen them do this yet, so they're trying to change things up. And they run the 2-3-4 ecstasy play. 2 players coming across. 1 out and under. Hansen gets that to you. You finding an elevating receiver. Flips that to Gow. Good work by Thorpe to keep that alive. Gow now looking for a dump. Finds Thorpe. Thorpe flips it open side to Hansen. Hansen looking for options. Has you. You doesn't like that open side slash. He'll look to Hansen. Hansen's slash is quick and open. And great grab through traffic. Catherine Marcelino brings it back to a 2-point lead for Union, 6-4.
Yeah, great movement there from Union for sure, right? They were calm and collected there on their O-line. A clean hold and a much needed clean hold, right? That definitely slows down the break train, as we like to say, and kind of the momentum of PBHG. When you do get one of those clean holds, it feels like you're back in that driver's seat.
Fans, I'm just going to mention it again, just while we have a moment here. I think... No, PBHG is just calling lines, but while we have a second, if you're just joining us late because one of your friends was like, "Hey, you won't believe this game, there's been 2 Callahans." This is our first of 5 streams today. We are starting now and going all the way to our last game, which starts at 6 o'clock tonight. It is, it's 11:15 right now. So we're going to be streaming Ultimate for the next 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours. And we're doing that because thanks to environmental events in the province, the wind is pushing too much forest fire smoke to our location that the air quality will not permit us to run games tomorrow. So you're going to catch the end of this semifinal, another open semifinal, and then our 3 straight finals after this game. PBHG collects. Boyle in the middle, over to Kerr, back to Boyle. Boyle had Kerr instead, a little sidestep from Taya Neeson. And she'll flip it back to the Thomas Boyle. Kerr. Doesn't have any options upfield. Goes back to Gagnon. Boyle outstretches to make that grab under pressure and immediately puts up a big flick huck to Herms or Fauché. And Fauché brings it in.
Yeah, great huck there. Able to find the space. And yeah, PBHG electing to bring it back into that handler movement space that we saw earlier and a few points ago. Right? And I love to see that. I want to see them finding that open space where we have Fauché in the deep space, able to make a good cut away from her check, and a beautiful throw there, right?
Yeah, that one sat
to the target.
That one sat.
Yeah,
that was a good throw. All right, the score 6-5. This half didn't really seem exciting at first. Now we're buzzing here. A lot going on, and crowds starting to show up. The stands starting to fill. We've got teams getting ready for their next game, setting up at the end of end zones. It's going to get busy here, and that's a testament to how exciting these games can be when we get to our semis in these divisions where, we have teams that really need or really do compete with each other at this stage of the tournament. As we have had some games where, our higher level teams were firmly in control, but now you love these close ones.
Yeah. And Clay, like you said at the beginning of the game, right? those two late breaks might be the decider. Right now, they are the deciding
That's right.
factor.
Yeah.
But again, we can't count PBHG out. They have been working hard for these breaks to come back as we hear General Strike on the sideline, loud cheering for their big PBHG family.
Looks like that pull will go be just. So Gao with their best dab signal for out of bounds. She'll ignore it. Allow Seaborn to pick up. Horizontal offense again from Union. Good to see them throwing two different kind of offenses, so PBHG can't get anything or make any sets against a predictable offense. Jivaraja. Ooh, loads up, doesn't like it, looks for a dump to Hansen. Instead, Yu once again directing traffic, and he's able to say, I'm open, give it to me, up to Ing Chen. Ing Chen around to Seaborn. Jivaraja reaching out. He'll try and sit that for Hansen. Hansen with a good read, able to run that down. Union still with that 2-point lead, as you were talking about, to have the score 7-5 for the team in white.
Yeah, and these have been 3 clean holds back-to-back now, Clay. Both these teams trying to figure out staying calm and composed as we feel the winds start to pick up here a little bit. I wonder if that's going to really change the results of this game.
Yeah, it has been unpredictable. The only thing we've seen happen so far is the disc, mainly OI throws, getting caught with either a biting edge or instead getting pushed from the underside of the disc too far. But otherwise, I haven't really seen much of an effect this game. We've just seen some really, really heads-up defense. And we've seen some athletic plays on offense here. So,
yeah, both these teams know how to show us how to be athletic and how to be smart, right? They're at this stage of the game, at this stage of the tournament, I should say, you got to show your how smart you are at the game, right? And I love saying that as a coach to my players, right? It's important to be smart because sometimes, you just shouldn't cut. And PBHG and Union are both showing that. They're able to make sure that they're giving each other the rest that they need.
That's a really good point.
And creating space.
Yep.
So we do have the cuts one at a time as we see a big pull come in.
Carpre's huck. Little miscommunication by PBHG about who's going to get it. Doesn't matter. Gets centered to Boyle. Boyle elects for the safe reset to the open side. Kind of the place of the field where Union wants it. And getting over on her side, Corey Diamond Burchuk reins that in. Rempel needs a dump. Finds one to Boyle, who's up the line, doesn't give up. Rempel will put that out there. McLeod comes from the back for an easy catch, turning on the Jets. As it seemed he wasn't the intended receiver, but got a good read right away and ran that down. The score now, Union 7, PBHG 6. Our half will happen at 0.8, so the first team to 8 is when our halftime will start, which, Union's on serve here. They have the opportunity to take half, but, PBHG showed us they went on a break run earlier. I did say at the start of the game, hey, I did say that this would be a game of runs, right?
Yeah.
So we are seeing some runs here. PBHG went on a big run to come back. Union scored a few to re-extend that lead, and PBHG could go another run here, take half. So
yeah, and I really like these looks from Boyle, right? We've seen Tom Boyle make these big cuts to his team, finding those open receivers. Great distance, great gap closing there from the PBHG receivers, right? They're able to get away from their checks, making sure they use those fakes. And a lot of times you don't notice the movements that they make when you're watching on stream. It's lucky for y'all, you get to back up, but try to make sure I'm following my best here as I saw McLeod make a great cut there and extend his lead away from his defender.
Herms with the Callahan earlier. Her pull will come down to the brick mark and give a bit of a roll. A great pull as PBHG is able to get down there right away. Seaborn in the middle. Looking for Jivaraja on isolation. It wasn't there, but he sticks around. And he'll go back to Seaborn. Gao. She finds an open Hansen in the middle. Hansen flips it up to Jivaraja, and curious if we do have a call by Jivaraja here. That was a bidding. I can't see his number.
So that
I want to say Neufeld, but I could be wrong. Or was that Beardsell? Well, they're talking about it. We'll let you know when we find out. That bid was, I wouldn't say dangerous. It was just like at that last possible second where he could make a play there. So when I want to say late, I just mean
seems like no call.
Yeah,
right.
No,
We're getting the
there is a call actually. It looks like it's a foul, no contest.
No contest.
Yeah, so we didn't go to the observers, but that is a foul contest, so that'll go back to the thrower.
Okay.
It was Beardsell.
Jivaraja was making those waves side to side, right? And when you do that, that is a no foul call. So a little bit unsure. Sometimes players do forget. Do forget to make sure to use proper hand signs.
Hansen looking for Gao. She sees an opportunity to go up line. Gao is going to go back to Hansen, but he also gets a gain on that. Gao and Hansen doing a good job to not get moved backwards. His scooper over the top is miscue with you there. You turned around and signaled to Hansen. He thought he was going the other way. Medwick picks up. Medwick flicks that to Herms. Herms
we might
to
see a deep shot here.
Beardsell.
And there it is.
It's a low hawk, so Hansen's able to get in the way. Yu turns around and hucks it right back. Jivaraja turns on the Jets for the goal. A good high five there after a hard-fought point against Beardsell. Union takes half with 8. PBHG with 6. Man, Sahab, I'm just so pleased to see this half start where it looked like one team was going to run away with it, and then we're right back into a sports match.
Yeah, definitely a lot of back and forth here, but love to see how PBHG has started to find their composure, keep a couple holds, and as we carry on into the second half here, I want to see PBHG kind of correct some of their errors, right? We saw some of those errors in the end zone. I want to see them stay a little bit more calm. I want to see them bring back some of their set plays. And holster some of these hucks, right? We saw a few hucks that just weren't working in PBHG's favor.
Well, the halves are 8 minutes in the senior phase of our tournament. We'll be back with you in about 5 in the first streamed game, a mixed semifinal out of our 5 streamed games today. Be back with you soon.
All right, Ultimate fans, we are back here for our second half as we begin. Just before we get started here, I'd like to thank a few sponsors here. We are on the BE Ultimates show field. BE Ultimates, a sponsor of this tournament. Head over to the BE Ultimate tent to get all your Ultimate apparel, or head over to beultimate.com to get all the Frisbee gear that you need. And our second sponsor of this tournament, Discraft, bringing us every single one of those tiny little pieces of plastic to bring you joy each and every single day, Ultimate fans. Discraft providing us with all the game discs for this tournament. Thank you so much, Discraft and BE Ultimates. As we get into the second half, the score is currently 8-6 in favor of Union.
Our next game after this will be an open semifinal between Vancouver's Furious George and Winnipeg's General Strike. So we're going Manitoba in our first two games of the day here. Union up 2, and they are pulling. So PBHG with the advantage to bring this game into 1. Boyle is going to pick up. Horizontal offense set by PBHG. Seen that a lot today. Paget on this sideline is left open under as they've been really trying to stuff him deep. You see Ing Chen really off of Paget right now. Foul called on the throw. Looks like players are signaling, or you is signaling that it's going to come in at 0. Chochinov finds Neeson. Galvez moving that around the field to Fauché. Boyle through contact. Jivaraja getting his hands back, realizing that could have been a foul. Paget in the breadbasket to Neeson. Moves that to Chochinov. Chochinov looking for a dump. He's able to go back to Rempel. But that's turned over. Union patient. Yu taking his time to find Marcelino. She'll move it to Ing Chen. On the sideline. Chivaraja is going to air that out for Ing Chen. He goes up early. I don't think he knew that he had a little bit more room behind him there, Sahab. I felt like he jumped when he didn't need to.
Definitely a little bit worried about the defender there. And that's the pressure that we're talking about, right? But Ing Chen moving really, really quickly through that handler space, able to strike deep, and G. Rajay also working together with him to create that up the line throw.
Paget looking for options, doesn't like the middle to Boyle. Instead, he'll go around to Rempel. Rempel to Chochinov. Chochinov doesn't see any breaks, goes to Galvez. Galvez looking for Boyle. It's not there. Rempel comes under. Kind of a tight throw. She's running out of time. Punches up to Chochinov. Chochinov doing a good job to fight through that at that high stall count. A few fakes to Paget. Flips it. Chochinov wants Paget to take off. Paget does. He's all alone. Lays out. Makes the grab. On the doorstep now. Chochinov. Here the get around call from the sideline. Instead, it's dumped back to Galvez. Chochinov. Hansen here encouraging his team not to let that around up. That throw goes too high. Ing Chen is in the area, climbs the ladder to ensure that defensive play is made. Thorpe puts that over to you. Marcelino. Looks like there was a violation as a call was made and some of the players kept playing. Marcelino brings the disc back in after everybody's back where they should be. Ing Chen flips it over to you. Yu puts up an IO flick. It's shallow, and Jivaraja had to change his momentum as that disc was behind him and did not expect to be looking over that shoulder to get it.
Yeah, it's not easy when you have to slow down and then you have to run back into the defender that you just beat off these a little bit of shallow throws. But yeah, Union really doing their research here, making sure that Page is not able to get it in the deep space, really playing this backing defense on him.
Some face guarding in the middle there to shut down PBHG's initiating cuts. Union being smart, starting to read PBHG's offense here. Boyle looking for options. Page making some moves. He's not there, though. Instead, Rempel reaches up to save that. Boyle, Jivaraja bidding. But Boyle reaches out, makes that grab, but his ensuing pass is just thrown on that front step. Not enough hips in that throw. The disc is turfed. Gao taking your time, directing traffic. Smart not to walk up to the disc right away. Gao's going to air that out for you. And while that disc went past him, he turned on the afterburners to make that grab. So Union coming out of the half with a break. The score, 9 for Union, 6 for PBHG.
A little bit of a scoop there, and Gao with a nice little throw up the line, right? Using that win to your advantage. But I want to highlight Jivaraja on that point there. Great defensive work with Ing Chen as well. They're both really, really working. Ing Chen making sure to back Page, the main striker, main offensive player for PBHG, and Jivaraja on the handler marks, making sure that he's focused up, right? We saw that layout attempt and immediately getting back up. Not a lot of players can say that they're able to do that, Clay.
No one in Masters anyway. But yeah, really athletic. And I mean, that just shows his hunger too, right? Like, you make a play like that, and sometimes you hit the ground and you're hoping that your team is going to back you up and you getting up. But instead, what we saw there was Jivaraja just saying, I'm going to go for this play. I didn't get it. Oh, I'm going to go get another one. And really good effort from him on that point. But, you know, I want to highlight what I actually saw, and I couldn't nail down one player in particular. But the female matching squad of that last point did such a good job locking down the middle. The Union women on that point were fronting their checks, shutting down all the cuts. Really all PBHG had there was to work it with their handlers. Yeah. And such good teamwork on that slough or that bracket they were throwing. So nice really job defensively like there.
The offense has been led by Union's female matching players, and the defense is being led by the male matching players.
Kerr will flip that around. It ends up with Herms. Gagnon takes up off the line, but it's not there. Diamond Burchuk gets that around to Kimura. He'll find McLeod. McLeod's going to put that up for Diamond Burchuk. She hits the ground and brings it in. I think she held on to it the whole time. She did. After this unforgiving turf bounced her around a little bit, but that athletic catch, keeping this a 2-point game. Union 9, PBHG 7.
Great athletic grab there, right? It is on top of the disc coming down at a hard edge, right? She had to read that very, very effectively with this win going across the field. Definitely a great read, really athletic play there. And I like that look from PBHG, right? We saw some more holsters there. We saw some good arounds. PBHG moving it up together and finding the gaps that Union has not been really giving them. Mm-hmm. These gaps have not been easy to find. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that, right? I need to see PBHG moving effectively with the handlers, and Union keep sticking to what they're doing, right? It's working for them. Not much to say on their end as we see Jivaraja and Ing Chen come back on the field here, hoping to see another big defensive look between these two on both ends of the field.
Yeah, Ing Chen has come down with a lot of discs that have been popped up in the air today. He's jumping so high that he's actually not quite ready to land.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when the disc is in the air, you jump a little bit higher than what you're used to. You know, your body just pulls something out, and
yeah, you find that edge. Yeah,
I like to tell them it's like the ultimate dream. Once you have the ultimate dream, you unlock a new ability to run faster, jump higher. and throw better.
PBHG's pull high, fielded by Hansen, up to Seaborn. Seaborn has Jivaraja open. He'll put out a flick huck. This one is going to sit. Oh, and a great read by number 12, Thomas Panayotopoulos. That was a really smart play of his. That was boxing out without a lot of physicality. Did you see how he made his defender jump early?
Yeah, both players really, really effectively using their bodies there, right? Little bit of contact there, but not much to be complaining about. And both players seemed, PBHG a little bit less content, but glad that there was no contact there, and it was a fair, even fight all throughout.
And number 88 on PBHG, Caleb Neufeld, he's a rookie on this team this year, and we've heard that he just flies everywhere. And, maybe Panayotopoulos had some recon on that and decided to kind of fake his first jump to make this rookie known for getting up high go early so that he could get a second effort on that. So
it's quite possible.
Yeah, quite possible. Good thinking, Thomas. Panayotopoulos.
As we see Union get set up here again. Want to see if they maybe bring back a zone look, maybe a slough or something. They haven't tried anything different on defense. Been quite simple, and it's been working for them, right? They are staying disciplined on their marks, making sure that no round is easy for PBHG. So you see this pull come through.
It's going to land at about the brick mark.
Yeah. Good pull from Prentice.
Boyle. Well, just put that up right away to who else but Paget. The wind catches it. This is floating. And Paget just off his hands. He did a good job bodying out his Czech, Jordan Atchison, but it just bounces off his hand. He's had a few of those this game where he's had it, but he just hasn't held on to it. He's going to want those back, I'm sure. Hard defense underneath, but Jamie Nepom able to get open. Prentice looking for options. Able to get it back to Lee, to Lynch. Moves that over to Atchison. Lee. That is in. Looked close, but Lindsay Musalam does a great job or work with her feet to save that.
And as we say that, Paget with a nice little run-through block. The throw not as intended.
PBHG now on the doorstep. Boyle noticing there's some double coverage. Doesn't like it. He's going to need some help now. Has a receiver around. She'll go right back up the line. He'll put that out to Paget. Paget, no problem this time as he's unchallenged, and he's able to pitch it backhand to number 98. Kind of a late, well, that's a tough one. I mean, it seemed that Brianna Prentice did see that coming. Perhaps she didn't see out of the corner of her eye exactly where the PBHG receiver was, but everyone's okay. PBHG still keeping this game within one. The score now 9-8.
Yeah, as we say that, that it could be considered a little bit of a dangerous play, but she's trying to stay heads up on the mark there, right? We've seen Prentice make these sort of plays where she's trying her best to stay focused and effective on the field, right? She sees the opportunity. She knows that cut is going to be made there, and she puts her body on the line, right? She steps into the space. And PBHG really, really good with this, right? They know when these throws are going to be coming into these spaces, and they try to make sure to not make them easy, right? They are blocking off some of these core offensive players for PBHG. PBHG attempting to make these bigger rounds. And yeah, it's not coming easy. So Union sticking to what they know, right? Playing some good defense and playing really clean on their offense, right? Making sure that they're not turning it over. No big throws, right? Making sure that they're throwing 100% throws and all the smart choices coming in from Union.
So how have I got some goss?
Excited.
There was a yellow card awarded on that last play to Brianna Prentice as she made that defensive bid against Maddie Schwartz, who got the goal, number 98 for PBHG. So the score in 1. Union moving it through the same few players we've seen a lot of this game. Ewan gets that pass from Gao as he looks to dump to Hansen. Hansen elevating to save it. Ing Chen flips it back to Hansen. He'll look to Ing Chen. Oh, and a miscommunication off that sideline. Gao unable to get there as that disc is pushed down by the wind.
Great effort from Gao there.
Medwick. And a big break around to Beardsell. That throw from Liam Sawatsky just sits perfectly. PBHG with the break. We're at a tie game, 9-9. The time is 11:45. What does that mean? Well, that means in 10 minutes, our soft cap is going to go on. In the soft cap, after the horn goes off, after the soft cap is on, the current point must finish. And after that current point finishes, it will be a game to the highest score +1. So if the highest score is 12, after that current point, it will be a game to 13. So a score to 9-9 with 10 minutes left of the cap. While Union has added an advantage because they'll be receiving on offense here. Sahab, at this point, I'm going with anybody's game.
Yeah, it could definitely be anybody's game here. And it's going to be a close one. Yeah, so PBHG going to put in their efforts, right? They got to get another break here to make sure to take the driver's seat in this game. If they keep trading here, it's going to end up in Union's favor. So PBHG's got to pull something out. They're going to hopefully try something a little bit different. Figure it out.
Okay, we might have a score discrepancy, viewers. We're going to get this figured out with an observer next point. It could be 10-9 or 9-9, but it seems we've got... We're going to ask the observer next point. I could be wrong about this being anybody's game.
I do have 10-9 on my
you have
score.
10-9. Okay, for Union.
Yes, for Union.
I'm so bad at this. I've been bad at this all week. I'm sorry, viewers. This is why Clay is not a scorekeeper. He just talks a lot.
Yeah, usually I'm the one who's wrong, so I trusted you immediately, Clay.
Prentice. Finds the dump to Atchison. Back to Prentice. Excuse me, that's Campbell working with her. And she's going to have to go for a big around as there were no other options. But Carprise is there. Napalm doesn't like that around. Ewan is there. It's on the wrong shoulder. He was moving away from that pass. He can't reach back behind him to grab it. So now PBHG has a chance to tie it up here.
Yeah, Lee putting in a good effort there. Trying to get it with his offhand.
Medwick. Elected dump to McLeod. McLeod will put that right back to Medwick. Medwick with the wheels. Makes the grab. Neat play to use that negative space, then immediately take off. I am stealing that offensive maneuver. And Medwick really turned on the jets to grab that.
Yeah, I love that handler look there. The handler strike is something that most teams don't expect, right? And you are not expecting Medwick to be boosting it down the field, right? He is running there. And a great throw for McLeod, right? McLeod, that's the third time that we've seen that amazing flick, right? A little bit of a high release look, but definitely great shot. Medwick turning on those wheels, getting a little bit of a sliding catch there to reel it in as we have a tie game here now. PBHG 10, Union 10.
Do you know when sliding catches are the worst?
On turf?
On turf.
On hot turf.
On hot turf, but Medwick don't care. Reins that in. So now a tie game. So now it's 10s. I got this. It is 10s. And I'm still sticking with anybody's game here because, PBHG just get a break. Maybe they'll get another one to take their first lead of the game here. But they haven't cracked it yet. And like we said at the beginning, I mean, Union went up 5-1 in this game, right? And they've had a lead ever since. They have let PBHG come back. PBHG has worked really hard to come back, but PBHG has yet to get a lead. But, on this very same field, 2018, Happy Campers were in this position and ended up winning their mixed masters final. So you never know. They came back from a 13-12 point deficit, won on Universe.
One would say you're a Victoria fan, Clay.
Yeah, I might have been on that team. I'll stop talking about it. Little announcer bias here.
And we are going to get a offside call, perhaps.
It looks like though it's a brick anyway. Yeah, so Gao finds Jivaraja. Ewan will put that out to Ing Chen. Ing Chen has just been bouncing so high up in the air. He had the presence of mind to go off 1 foot, make an awkward twisting move to make that catch just so he could land in the end zone. I can't tell if those are high socks or ankle braces for his ankle's sake. I hope they're braces because he has just been everywhere, flying, twisting, spinning, making so many things happen for Union today. The score now 11-10.
Yeah, Clay, I'm convinced that those are not ankle braces, they're ankle weights. You know, he's actually training really hard, getting ready to take those off for the next game, right? As soon as he takes them off, we're going to see him jumping up 10 meters into the sky. So looking forward to seeing that. As Ing Chen, right, a little bit of a move there. We see he's used to jumping up. He wasn't used to that disc coming at body height. So he did get a little bit of a hop there off that back foot. And it wasn't necessary, but it ended up working out for him as he got that little spin move to finish it off. And great offensive look there from the Union. Nice, simple, cool, calm, collected. As we see this Union D-line get set up.
3 to 4 minutes left before the cap. It's a 1 point game. Union's pull is a great one, sailing all the way down to the end zone. Quickly fielded it and put into the hands of Boyle. He'll do some tic-tac-toe with Neeson. Page elevates to grab it. I'm sorry, that's Rempel. Page gets it back from Herms. Rempel now on the sideline alone. Looks off some possible hucks as she had Kerr deep. Boyle will come back underneath with a little scoop around Carprise. He'll go up to Page. Page looking for options. Doesn't see anything. Likes jab step there from Neeson. Herms to Boyle. Boyle over to Rempel.
I'd like to see Page make his way into the end zone space here.
Yeah. Oh, Boyle's left
Boyle's
alone on
wide
some
open.
weird coverage and somehow makes that grab through coverage. And Kerr calling off Diana Fauché, who was about to make a play on that disc. But Kerr brings it in. We are all tied up again. 11s in this Union PBHG matchup.
That was interesting. Like we saw Boyle stay back, or sorry, Page stay back, and Boyle wide open there. Right? It seemed like Page staying back in the handler position might have tripped up Union a little bit. Right? They have been kind of playing that backing defense on him, making sure that he's not being able to do anything on the deep space. But when he's in the handler space, right? What do you do?
Yeah, and
we get a little bit confused now.
It seems to me that PBHG has clued in. It wasn't exactly a secret, but they've definitely clued in and are making use of the fact that Union has decided this game that they are always going to back him. They're never going to let him go deep in the lanes. And in effect, what that does is it gives Union a free deep poach if Page keeps going out into the cutting lane. So now staying back as a handler, it has ruined this defensive look that they were going with at the beginning, that Union was going with throughout the first half, beginning of the second half of this game. And PBHG now finding a lot more options downfield with that adjustment. Herms' huck.
Great pull.
I should say. Yeah, great pull. Will come down to the brick. Gao goes to fields it as it rolls to Hansen. Hansen has you underneath. You finds Thorpe. Thorpe puts that out. Jivaraja, but Beardsell is there to make the defensive play, that pressure.
Beardsell adding a lot of pressure on to Jivaraja there. Not easy to get that cash by Jivaraja.
Medwick looking for options, thinking about unloading to McLeod, but basically all of Union goes with him, and he decides to throw it anyway. McLeod trying to find position. Hansen boxes him out, and McLeod will call a foul. I don't know why you would throw when you've got 3 players coming underneath and you've had someone go deep. You saw everyone drop on him. It seems that you were really trying to force that. It's like trying to microwave a microwave. Like, why would you go for that look downfield when you have 3 people covering the same person?
Yeah.
And everyone else coming underneath? It's possible the count was too high. Or maybe, the PBH players weren't yelling poach loud enough, but we'll see here. There was a foul call. It did.
Yeah.
It is tough. I felt like Hansen had the clean box out there to make that play, but
I felt as though Hansen had position as well, right? And it's hard to say, but like I like to say to most players that I coach, it's just when you see these kind of throws that aren't good options, right? There's 3 people deep. It's not really a good option to make that throw. If you do feel a little bit of body contact, you shouldn't really call a foul, right? You're both kind of bodying each other. You're both going back and forth there. Hansen had that space, and he's not going to give it to McLeod, right? Not for free.
Yeah.
So McLeod definitely had to
save those calls for college ultimate, everybody. That's where we get those out of our system. But you know what, though? I don't want to count out McLeod here. Sorry, McLeod. We're kind of ragging on your call, but we weren't there. We could not see behind you. Perhaps there was more contact than we are aware of. And so it is going to go back. So it's a foul contest back to Medwick. Now, maybe this is a little bit of a blessing for Medwick because now he's going to see that Herms is standing right to his right and doesn't really have a check marked up on her. So he does have a reset there. It does have to go back to where the foul occurred. I'm kind of surprised that all those other players that were involved in that defensive play when the foul occurred are all back in position. I think Union getting away with one here.
Yeah, interesting how that setup happened.
Herms.
Finding her sister.
But her sister, finding Catherine. She'll go around to Medwick. Medwick. Had it to Schwartz, and she looked to Herms, but Herms blew a tire. Doesn't matter. McLeod gets the disc, and it goes back to Beardsell. Beardsell has Herms on the break side. She flips that up to Medwick. Medwick looking off Maddie Schwartz. She's running out of time. Goes for the around backhand break. Beardsell with the grab. It is in. PBHG takes their first lead of the game. The score now 12-11. Now, I believe Cap went on during that point, so it should be. Oh, no, it didn't.
It did not.
It didn't, because I am forgetting about the 5-minute delay we started with this game. So our cap actually isn't going on until noon. So we are not in cap yet. Sorry, fans. I'm getting used to just the standard numbers here. But our soft cap isn't actually till noon because this game did start 5 minutes late. So PBHG now in the lead, 12-11. And we've got about 2 minutes to cap. So I imagine it'll go on during this next point, and then we'll be able to tell you what the game will be too. Big momentum shift here for PBHG.
Yeah, I mean, this is PBHG's first lead of the game, right? And this is going to be a big turning point. I like to say, there are 3 big turning points in Ultimate. There's the beginning of the game. Union had that, right? Union took over that. And then we get the halftime mark. Union still remained in control. And now we're reaching the end game here where PBHG has started to kind of cement themselves with a little bit of a lead here, right? We got the 1-point lead. We saw a couple breaks back to back from PBHG. And it might be PBHG coming out with the last turning point of the game, which might be the most important one.
So Pat looks like Paget is going to pull. We are seeing a different look on this offensive side for Union here. Different personnel, that is. Some the same, some different. Carpries fielded that pull. Goes to Prentice. Around to Lee. Lee
Wide
looking for options.
Campbell.
Pops up. Herms. Doesn't make it in time to make that time on Campbell. Looks like she's just going to take an injury as Campbell had position on that disc, but just as he came down, sort of couldn't really avoid that contact with Herms as she made that bid. And it looks like it's Schwartz that will come in for her. Campbell. That throw is too low for Lindsay Muslam. So now.
End zone call here. And this is that end zone that we saw earlier with Page in that one-on-one space.
Instead, they go around to Schwartz.
Wide open Schwartz here.
Medwick doing some work. Gets that dump to Medwick. A big bid there by Carprise, but Medwick fights through it. He puts out a blade to Page. Big defensive play by Campbell to get that back for Union. He takes off. A good switch by PBHG as Medwick drops on him to stop him. That was actually Atkinson with the D going deep. Excuse me. Now it's Campbell with the disc. That into traffic, but is fielded by Marcelino. She puts that around to Prentice. Back to Atkinson. Has Lee in the middle after a few janky cuts. Campbell flips that to Atkinson. Out to Muslam. She toes it, keeps it in. Excuse me, that was Marcelino keeping it in. Lee. Over to Prentice. She'll have a free dump to Carprise, but Lee needs to get out of there to make that room, so Carprise gets it. Atkinson with the scoop, not there. Once again, Union sort of cutting off their handlers. That goes over the top to Campbell. Napalm. To Lee, to Campbell. To Prentice. Prentice turning on the Jets here. A lot of open undercuts. PBHG struggling to keep up with the speed of Union at this point. That disc goes up, not for Lee. Atkinson toes it, keeps it in. Things slowing down here. Carprise has an open Campbell. McLeod needs to get that mark on. He runs up. Carprise now. Union showing some patience. Cuts are slowing down, but he's still able to find a dump or an upline pass, that is. Now Lee with the disc. Flips it to Carprise. He's not quite in. He'll air that out for Atkinson. And Atkinson with the goal. You saw a little bit of spirit shown by Beardsell there. I think Beardsell believed he may have forced Atkinson out the back of the end zone with that contact. So before we actually had a call from the observers, he was signaling it was a goal. Good on him to recognize that contact and the result of it. And we're all tied up.
Back to tie game. And at PBHG here, it seems like they're starting to get a little bit tired, right? They're tightening up their lines here. And these marks are just not able to keep up. Union wide open on a lot of these cuts. They're getting into that space, right? We saw PBHG trying their best to maintain on their defense. Seems like they were putting up a little bit of a sort of poachy look. Not, I wouldn't say a zone, but definitely a poachy look. Attempting to try to preserve the legs and preserve the energy from their handlers and from their marks there. Union, on the other hand, really calm, collected, as they have been all game, right? Also tightening up their lines a little bit, making sure to kind of find the gaps, right? They're really, really slow with these handler throws. They're calm, using up a lot of stalls that they need.
Do you see those red lights flashing? Do you know why?
No, I don't.
It's a universe point alert, everybody. The cap did go on during that point, and I was able to seek some confirmation from our observer staff. This is a game to 13. The score is 12-12, so this is universe point. As I like to say, PBHG starting on O, they are in the driver's seat. Taking that lead close to the end of the game puts them in a great position here.
Both teams are fired up right now on the sideline, cheering as loud as they can.
Kerr will field it. Up to Boyle. Medwick takes off deep. Takes quite a few players with him. We see Page being backed by Ying Chen. Rempel looking for options. We'll go back to Kerr. He goes around to Boyle. The wind's starting to pick up. Boyle lets it loose for Medwick. Oh, and it's off the hands of Medwick. Now, Union chilling it out. Players walking around. Hansen circling that disc, allowing his offensive colleagues to get into position. He'll pass to Gao. Gao under to Ing Chen. Page made the bid. It looks like Ing Chen is injured. We're going to give this a minute and hope he's okay. He is standing up, but it does look like an ankle. So we'll wait for this. That could be a big loss right now. He is going to take a sub as Ing Chen has just been on fire this game. His teammates go to help him. And it looks like Medwick is also asking for a sub as McLeod comes in for him. Atchison will come on for Ing Chen. Union still has possession. Ing Chen made that catch, just seemed to hurt something in his ankles there. Page on the mark. Atchison with the disc.
So the wind starts to pick up here.
Yeah, they got suddenly quite gusty here. Yu finds Chivaraja underneath. Chivaraja flips it up to the open side to Atchison, to Hansen. They're getting up on the jam side past the brick mark now. They are in the red zone. Atchison swings that around to Gao. Gao finding a middle receiver in Burke. Burke looking for options, flips it over to Hansen. Hansen to Chivaraja for the win. Toronto's Union on Universe. They will proceed to the finals at 2:30 today. A hard-fought game. PBHG did finally gain that lead back, but going down early in this game, you know they're going to look back at this game and say, we played better, but when we allowed ourselves to go down at the beginning, we could never really get it back.
Yeah, and that is not easy. But Union, congratulations to them as they make their way on to the ticket for the final game. As we try to figure out who is ending up in the finals here, it should be
It's going to be between Red Flag or Spawn. Red Flag has been playing phenomenal this tournament. We don't have a score update for you on that one, but pay attention to social media. It'll probably be out there. And it's not as if we won't be able to talk to you soon, because we are coming right back in 23 minutes for our second of 5 stream games of the day. It will be an open semifinal matchup between Winnipeg's General Strike and Vancouver's Furious George. We're going to take a much needed break and be back with you soon.
And Red Flag update, score update 15-8, taking it over Spawn. So Red Flag going to be meeting Union in the finals here today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join us back soon.